of us black people, we grow up and we get educated only about the last 500 years of our history, you know, the worst 500 years of our long history so far.
I wrote this poem on the way home, from a place and a space where my ancestors roamed. And they let it be known that the world was their home, but Africa is their throne. Flying to Ghana like that bird Sankofa, we would claim their heritage plus the roots and the culture.
When we got to the village of Mepe, this was a giant party, a welcoming ceremony. They gave us these cool bracelets and white powder all over our hands as a welcoming into their community.
My mother was born in Trinidad, but she's white, and so I'm mixed. My father is African American. I don't really know my father to the extent that I'd like to, and I guess this trip is me getting to know that side of my family.
To the village of Mepe, we say Akpe, for showing us love and showing us the way, that we can always go home no matter how far we stray. Yeah, we can always go home no matter how far we stray. Ashe.
Way back down in history, Grandpa used to tell me there was lots of agony. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It was like a jungle, tied us up in bundles, shipped us from the motherland. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Through the middle passage, packed us up like magic.
In this dungeon, are waiting for shipment. In the end, the men were kept in this dungeon. The women will bring the short. So when the ships arrived, rather than outside space, they constructed a tunnel which was about 50 meters. So the men will walk through the tunnel to join the women to bring them around the and just look at the size of this room. From here up to that side. History has it that about 1,000 men, no life and no death. So their only source is this shining space up. The door was closed by the masters. Over here, those who decided to fight for their freedom, the masters were annoying, captured those ones, and they kept them over there. It took British over 60 good years to complete the whole house. And later, British went to the southern part of Nigeria, down to the south to Angola, along the coast. They captured some, brought all here before shipping those people up. Down here was the urina. They passed round and round, and then entered the sea. And that was one point. See, another terrible example. But here, up to this ground, was platform of human waste. Sure. Toilet, pile. Up to the pool of this level. So down here, where we are standing now, was the original level of the ground. And those guys were inside it, doing all sorts of things in their own time. And those who died in this room, into the sea, thrown over for fish. That's how the items found in this room. During the digging, was the shackles and chains used to brace them, and these antiques are still being kept in our museum. After the tour, you go there to see those things with your red eyes.
I captivate my eyes, looking, seeking, so still there are words of right. Mine, yours, was. I have thoughts of freedom, tales that entail tales of self-dignity, lost equality, body of the soul over the soul in the body, placed hands in a tale of seeking forgiveness and was given a choice. Govern your choices.
Tell them we know where their strength lies. Tell them we know about all their lives. About all. Way back down in history, Grandpa used to tell me there was lots of organization. It was like a jungle, tied us up in bundles, shipped us from the motherland. Through the middle passage, packed us up like matches, but the Father gave us strength. Tell them we know who they are. Tell them we know.
Amazing grace, how sweet.
To meet the demand of having to transport human cargo, ships had to be redesigned. Tight packers held up to 1,000 captives, seated below deck with no space between them. Loose packers carried approximately 250 captives, locked in a prone position, arranged on wooden racks 6 feet long and 1 foot wide. The average length of the journey.
In the 17th century, a rough family of London cloth cutters called Beckford emigrated to the newly conquered colony of Jamaica to seek its fortune. The Beckfords invested in sugar and slaves.
Up, on your feet, on your feet.
When we learn about slavery, there are many stories that get excluded. Stories of resistance and uprisings. Most of us think that our ancestors were complacent about the conditions that they were in. The truth is, from the shores of Africa to the shores of the Americas, our ancestors fought.
I am Toussaint Louverture. My name is perhaps known to you.
He was called the Black George Washington. He fought off 3 empires and enraged Napoleon.
On August 14, 1791, an independent revolutionary struggle was prepared and led by Boukman Duty, who was brought to Saint-Domingue from Jamaica. Boukman Duty, along with other leaders of the runaways and maroon communities, met late on the night of August 14th in the forest of Bois Cayman to finalize the plan for the uprising. Boukman led a voodoo ceremony to invoke the names of the African gods to protect them from weapons of the enemy. With the sword in his hand, he reminded the freedom fighters of their suffrage under the hand of European colonialists. He ordered the leaders to come together to fight to the death for freedom.
One of 100,000 black people marching under the red, black, and green flag of the Universal Negro Improvement Association. The world had never seen anything like it. It was all the work of one man, Marcus Garvey.
I unequivocally rejected the racist assumption of much white American Christianity, namely that God had created the black man inferior and that he had intended Negroes to be a servant class, hewers of wood and drawers of water. Well, I predicated my view of man on the doctrine of Imago Dei. All men, regardless of color, are created in the image of God. Now, from this premise, call it equality of all men and the brotherhood of all men.
All lives mattered, we wouldn't have to say Black Lives Matter. I'll say it again. If all lives really mattered, we wouldn't have to say that Black Lives Matter. There's an oppressive force in the way that criminal justice engages with black bodies since the time of enslavement. This is not new, but we're picking up the mantle of our forebears and our ancestors, and we're moving forward. And this movement, when we say the all should be all black lives, not all lives matter, but all black lives. Men and women, I want you to take a look at how many women are out here standing up in the name of police brutality.
The only difference between a classroom and a plantation is time. How many times must we be made to feel like quotas, like tokens and coin phrases, diversity, inclusion? There are days I feel like one, like only, a lonely blossom in a briar patch of broken promises, but hey, I've always been a thorn in the side of injustice, disruptive, talkative, a distraction with a passion that transcends the confines of my own consciousness, beyond your curriculum, beyond your standards. I stand here, a manifestation of love and pain with veins pumping revolution. I am the strange fruit that grew too ripe for the poplar tree. I am a dream act, dream deferred, incarnate, and a movement, an amalgam of memories America would care to forget. My past alone won't allow me to sit still, so my body, like my mind, cannot be contained. I look each of my students in the eyes and see the same light that aligned Orion's belt in the pyramids of Giza. I see the same twinkle that guided Harriet to freedom. I see them. Beneath their masks and their mischief exists an authentic frustration and enslavement to your standardized assessments. At the core, none of us were meant to be common. We were born to be comets, darting across space and time, leaving our mark as we crash into everything. A crater is a reminder that something amazing happened right here, an indelible impact that shook up the world. Are we not astronomers searching for the next shooting star? I teach in hopes of turning content into rocket ships, tribulations into telescopes, so a child can see their true potential from right where they stand. And injustice is telling them they are stars without acknowledging the night that surrounds them. Injustice is telling them education is the key while you continue to change the locks. Education is no equalizer. Rather, it is the sleep that precedes the American dream. So wake up, lift your voices until you patch every hole in a child's broken sky. Wake up, every child, so they know of their celestial potential. I've been the black hole in a classroom for far too long, absorbing everything without allowing my light to escape. But those days are done. I belong among the stars, and so do you. And so do they. Together, we can inspire galaxies of greatness for generations to come. So no, sky is not the limit. It is only the beginning. Lift off.